What is up, Bucko Nation? Welcome to the Cone Hoisters Weekly Show. That's right, we are officially debuting our new name, as I discussed last week. The Cone Hoisters Weekly Show is our new show name. I'm Mason Zapesky, your host. I know the past couple of shows have been longer, but tonight I'm going to try my darn hardest to film a quicker one, that's for sure. We really don't have much to talk about. I'm just going to do some housekeeping stuff at the beginning. It's a short but sweet. It's not a whole lot. It's just a couple little things, or a lot of little things, but nothing real detailed. Then we're going to recap this homestand against the Mariners and the Reds. We will then take a look at we'll name our star of the week for this week, which was rather interesting choice. I'm going to share more about that in a minute, but it was rather interesting. Then we will look at the MLB standings. We'll then look at our minor league clubs to see how they're doing as they begin the second half of their season. And then we will take a look at the Pirates' top prospects, see what's going on with them, and see what we could do with them. Finally, we will preview this upcoming road trip against the cross-state rival Philadelphia Phillies and the team in our nation's capital, the Washington Nationals, who we will play on the 4th of July. We will be their opponent for America's 250th birthday and their famed 4th of July 11 o'clock spot. Think about that. Anyway, we'll talk about that at the very end. Let's talk about a couple housekeeping things, too. First off, if you're listening on Spotify, welcome all my Spotify friends. I've been doing this since March of 2026, opening day. We've been mostly on YouTube. We've been filming all these on YouTube. I recently created a master plan to detail how I'm going to advance this channel, and advancing this channel includes having a presence on Spotify, so we're going to start having a presence on Spotify more. I can't wait to get you guys involved more on that. If you're looking for more from my channel, I do have a Pirates Live 412 pregame show and a Pirates Live 412 postgame show before every single game, both home and away. You can find those on YouTube. We will not be uploading those to Spotify yet, but maybe at some point we will, depending on how things go on Spotify. So welcome, Spotify users. I hope you enjoy this. Secondly, let's take a look at the July calendar, because it has a couple important dates I wanted to start discussing. July 5th, next Sunday, we will obviously have our normal show. However, starting next Sunday, probably in between, or right in between the minor league standings and the top prospects, we will have a trade deadline segment. We'll be adding that, where we will be talking about buyers, sellers, and what the plan is for the deadline following that week's games. That will go until August the 2nd, and we might do a special edition August the 3rd, strictly focused on the deadline. But that will go to August 2nd, when the deadline is. July 12th will be a normal show. There will be nothing impacting that. July 19th, there will be no show. I think I've mentioned this several times now. I will mention it next week, and I will mention it the 12th. There is no show July the 19th. The reason being is there's only one series. It's the trip to Cleveland, and we will be recapping that on July the 26th. And I'll get to that in a minute. But July the 26th, but July 19th, there will be no show. I'll remind you again probably at the end of this video. I will remind you again next week, and I'll definitely remind you on July the 12th. But there's no show July 19th. Just put that in the books right now. July 26th, we will be back. We'll be recapping the series against the Guardians, the Yankees, and the Cubs. And we will be previewing the series against the Diamondbacks and the Reds, while also talking some trade deadline. And we will also be starting MVP rankings. So I will be doing rankings of who I believe the team MVP should be. So we'll be doing that. And ultimately, the player who wins the team MVP and the final MVP rankings will be announced on a season recap show, which I'm tentatively planning right now. If we miss the postseason, I'm tentatively planning for that to be Monday, September the 28th. But that's a while away. We could discuss that then. Hopefully it's not then, because I want to make the playoffs so freaking bad. So hopefully it's not then. But anyway, that's your calendar looking ahead. Also, something I want to discuss. On July the 26th, I've mentioned this several times now, but I'm going to mention it again, and we'll continue to remind you up until then. I will be launching Steelers Live 412, which will be very similar to this. However, the structure will be much different. I will probably talk about Steelers Live 412, how that's going to look on July the 12th during my housekeeping at the beginning, and I will talk about it on July 26th when we launch. I can't wait for that. On August the 16th, I will be launching Panthers Live 412, covering Pitt Athletics. The format will be also somewhat similar to this. I will discuss that likely on my August 9th show and my August 16th show, so keep an eye out for those for sure. More information on those channels will launch. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you follow that. Also, you guys will probably love this one here. So, I obviously do TikTok and have this account on TikTok. This is my first time I'm announcing it because I just thought of it today. I obviously have Pirates Live 412 on TikTok. I have a Pirates Live 412 Instagram. They're both Pirates Live 412 if you want to look it up. Right now, I have a sports Instagram. I barely use it, but I'm going to try to get more into it here as the second half of 2026 approaches. We'll talk about that more in a couple later throughout the segment, but it's called Mason Sports Network. So if you want just sports talks in general, it's Pittsburgh sports, all the teams, not just Pirates, but it's Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, whatever. You can get that Mason Sports Network, but I'm going to try to do more like just general sports, like PGA, MLB, NFL, NHL, NBA. It's going to be more. I'm definitely going to try to use that more. I haven't used it a lot. I apologize for that because I've been so hyper invested on this channel on Live 412. Pirates Live 412, see what we're doing here, and also planning for Steelers and Panthers Live 412. I haven't had the time to invest. I'm going to definitely try to invest more because I need to invest more. But something I'm going to try to do, hopefully this week, if not this week, probably in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm going to try to create a TikTok, like a Mason Sports Network TikTok or a Mason Sports Takes TikTok, where I talk about sports, all sports in general, not just the Pirates, not just the Steelers, not just the Penguins, but like MLB, NFL, NHL, NBA, MLS, all that kind of jazz. Probably not the best time since the World Cup's almost ending. It would have been nice to do it for them, but I'll still get the ending. We'll still get the tournament, but yeah. So I'm definitely going to try to create a TikTok discussing like just general sports opinions and all of that. I will give you the name of that once I create it. It's going to be soon, but I can't wait for that journey with you guys. But for now, follow Mason Sports Network on Instagram. That's where you can find me on there for more sports takes outside of Pittsburgh sports. Alrighty, I think I've covered everything with housekeeping. We discussed what the channel is going to look like over the coming weeks. Trade deadline talk obviously starts next week. There will be no show July 19th, obviously. We'll start MVP rankings on the season July 26th, and that will continue to the end of the year. I'm trying for the end of the year show right now to be Monday, September 28th. But hopefully it's not till November because hopefully we win the World Series. So, but tentatively, if we miss the playoffs, which would be unfortunate, it will be Monday, September 28th. And also, yeah, the trade deadline talk will stop August 3rd because the trade deadline will be over. And Steelers Live 412, July 26th. Panthers Live 412, August 16th. I'm going to try to get my sports TikTok or my sports Instagram page back running somewhat, Mason Sports Network. If you're on Instagram, follow that. And I'm going to try to create a sports TikTok. I will have more on that hopefully next week. But if not, tune in on July 26th because you'll learn more about it then. And obviously, what was I going to say? Oh, obviously I talked about last week in the master plan. Once the season is over, since we are past the halfway point, I just want to say this. Once the season is over, this show will still be active during the offseason. However, it will be significantly shorter, and it will be on Saturdays, likely, instead of Sundays. So, yeah. Alrighty, let's talk some Bucko baseball now. Pirates went 3-3 this past week in a homestand with the Mariners and Reds. Let's dive into it here. I'm going to briefly recap each game for you guys because we went a little over on time there with the housekeeping stuff, but it's definitely good stuff to know for sure. Spotify users, obviously I mentioned at the beginning how we run this show. Number one, we obviously do housekeeping, which we just did. Number two, we recap the weekly games, which we're doing now. Three, we will do the star of the week, which I think is the best player of the week, kind of like the MVP of the week essentially. Fourth, we will then go over the MLB standings and talk about those. Fifth, we'll review the Pirates minor league clubs, how they're performing in their standings and how they're doing this week. Sixth, we will discuss the Pirates' top prospects. And seventh, we will look ahead to the series and the road trip against the Phils and the Nats. Anyway, though, now, let's discuss this series with the Mariners. First off, Tuesday night, we took a 2-0 lead, but unfortunately we did lose the game on 2 long balls. I forget who hit the first one. Cole Young, who's a year older than me, that went to North Allegheny High School, which is about 20 minutes north of Pittsburgh. He hit the second one to give the Mariners a 3-2 lead. They never looked back at this point, and they ended up winning the game 3-2. This was certainly disappointing, but there's nobody to blame on this. I'm not blaming Kelly at all. I'm not blaming Mitz at all. It's just the long ball killed us, and unfortunately the offense didn't do enough. So this was just a tough loss, and that's all I'm going to say. Wednesday night, though, we turned a tough loss into something positive. We were down early 1-0 against the Mariners. I was very concerned because they were hitting the crap out of Ashcraft early, and I didn't feel good. But in the bottom of the 4th inning, we massively, and I mean massively turned things around. Took a nice 5-1 lead. We just kept hounding on runs there, throwing runs into the bucket there for the heck of it. And we ended up winning this game 11-1. This was a feel-good win. We certainly needed a feel-good win. Man, does this team do well on Wednesdays. Back-to-back Wednesdays, they've had resilient wins, or big wins, 11-1 and 12-4. 12-4 is the Athletics 2 Wednesdays ago now it'll be. And this past Wednesday was 11-1 over the Mariners. So, big win for the Pirates. And this was what we needed. Oh, Hearn came up big as well. Ashcraft did great too. So, very impressed by this. We freaking needed this. Thursday, that was an extremely freaking fun day. That was an extremely fun day. I had so much fun there on Thursday. It was awesome. And Bubba Chandler pitched a great freaking game, man. He allowed only 1 run. We won 5-1. Brandon Lau and Henry Davis 1 yard. Someone else 1 yard too. I forget. Let's see who else 1 yard. There's one other person. Oh, hang on. Who 1 yard? Oh, gosh. Why can't I remember this? Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm right. Maybe somebody didn't go yard. Maybe I'm freaking right. Oh, no, it was singles. It was a couple singles and all that. So we won the game 5. It was only 2 home runs. I'm right. I was wrong. My bad. But anyway, we won 5-1. Bubba did great. He's really freaking improved recently. I'm very impressed by him. Great win for sure. We took the series against the Mariners, something that we had to do. I could not see us with a good plan and a good rest of the season moving forward had we not taken this series. It was so crucial that we did, and I'm so happy we took this series. This was one I'm feeling real good about. So, yeah, I was very happy with that. Very happy with how Wednesday and Thursday went. Those were fun games for sure. And the Mariners series was one of the best home series this year. And I will share that with you in a minute. I have 2 things to share with you in a minute. Let's recap the Reds, though, first. Friday night was certainly not pretty. We lost this game 6-4. Got off to a nice start. I was so happy. Shout out Connor Griffin. Man, hang on. Got something tied on me. Shoot. Shout out Connor Griffin, man. Give him a round of applause again. Home run. First at bat back. Was very impressed for sure. Very, very freaking impressed for sure by Connor Griffin there. That was awesome by KG to hit a home run in his first at bat back from the injured list. And it was great to see him back as well. Took a 1-0 lead. Then the Reds just erupted against Paul Skeens in the second. 2 hits gave them a 2-1 lead. And then they had 2 sacrificed flies to make it 4-1. Pirates slowly and steadily used the long ball to chip back in. We ultimately tied it at 4 on his Maryland Valdez home run. He had a great series against the Reds, so shout out to him. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough because Novelli Marte hit a home run off of Mason Montgomery in the top of the 8th, I think it was, to give the Reds, let's just confirm that, the Reds a 6-4 lead. They never looked back at this point, and they won the game. Yeah, top of the 8th, Novelli Marte hits a home run. It's 6-4 Reds. They never looked back at this point, and they earned a huge win. Saturday certainly was not pretty. It was probably the worst loss of the freaking year, to be honest with you. This was a wild one, back and forth. It was pouring down rain. It certainly wasn't a fun game at all, like, to be out there and be there for, like, weather-wise. But overall, I mean, it was crazy because Jared Jones allowed a lot of runs. Obviously, Jared Jones and Endy had that bound the dugout yesterday, which God only knows who it's about. I mean, shame on both. I just want to say it sucked. Shame on Jared Jones for flipping out and his arrogance and his attitude. I don't like how his attitude has progressed at all. And obviously it's an issue and it's something we need to talk about. However, at the same time, though, there is no reason for that cameraman to be showing that. So shame on him as well. Both parties are equally responsible for that, in my opinion. And both of them need to face some kind of discipline, if you want my opinion. But that, I think, had a sour vibe. The fact that Valdez came up clutch, or Lau came up clutch with the home run to make it 3-2 off Chase Burns, proving how good Lau is. Then Cincinnati takes the lead 6-4. Then we crawl back to make it 6-6. Then is Maryland Valdez, the magician. I love his Burley celebration, home runs. Makes it 7-6. And then Gregory Soto, 2 strikes, 2 outs, allows a home run to Eugenio Suarez, who I've wanted to sign so freaking bad this offseason, to make it 9-7, and that's how this went. It's pathetic. There have been so many. This bullpen, unfortunately, was the culprit for this series. Like, we're a much better team than the Reds, if you want my opinion. We should have never lost this series. We probably should have won 2 out of 3, if not all 3. I'm not going to blame Friday night. I think Friday night's more on Skeens and that debacle than the bullpen debacle. It just so happened Mason Montgomery allowed that, despite Mason Montgomery being very good. This bullpen is probably, we've lost 42 games this year. This bullpen has probably costed at least 10 to 15. And that's a big freaking deal. We have a very good roster. We're just one piece away. Charrington has got the hitting down, and he's pretty much got the starting pitching down. In fact, I will say he has. I'll give it to him. He has. He just needs to get this bullpen down. And needs to work the trade deadline like crazy to get 2 bullpen arms. That's what you need. You need 2 bullpen arms. You don't need to turn trash into treasure. You literally just need 2 bullpen arms and you're fine. You need to get a tier 1 closer like Josh Hader. You probably need another solid relief arm. I don't care what you give up at this point. Just don't give up Hernandez. Give up any other freaking prospect or player in the system that's not a superstar here right now, or that's not a household commodity or name. Household name. I don't care. I know I said originally I would give up Jake Mangum to get a closer. I am backing out on that. I really love how Mangum has played in Cruz's absence, and I think we need to keep Mangum at all costs. So that's somebody we need to keep, and we need to focus on making a pirate for the long term. So don't give up Jake Mangum. I take that back. Same with Carmen. We need to focus on making Carmen a pirate for the long term. Don't give him up. But we need bullpen arms, and we need them now. That bullpen probably cost us 1 game, if not 2 this series. I'll say 1 just to be generous, but crazy. It's ridiculous. Like I said yesterday on the postgame show, death taxes in the Pirates bullpen blowing leads. You got to remember that. It's very true, unfortunately. I'm going to say it again. Death taxes in the Pirates bullpen blowing leads. This needs to end, and it needs to end fast. Get a bullpen arm and get it now. Please, Ben. Please. But anyway, let's not talk about the losses. Let's talk about the wins. Pirates today beat the Reds 9-4. I just finished filming the postgame show for that. You can probably listen to it now on my channel. So take a tune into that if you will, please. It was crazy. I mean, there was a big rain delay for about an hour. Started out, Pirates led 4-0. Mitch Keller, unfortunately, did allow the Reds to crawl back in, making it 4-4. Then Ryan O'Hearn came up clutch twice, hitting a home run in the bottom of the 5th right after. The Reds tied it to make it 4-4. O'Hearn hits a home run to make it 5-4. And then in the bottom of the 8th, O'Hearn really came up clutch, putting the game on ice, making it 8-4. Then is Maryland Valdez, the magician, hits another freaking home run. Man, did he have a good week. He's not the star of the week, but he had a good week. I will say that. But shout out, he's getting honorable mention tonight too. But anyway, he'll get honorable mention tonight too, as I just said. But anyway, it's 9-4. Santana comes in and gets the last 3 outs. It's a good win. You probably should have taken 2 that series. I would have been so much happier if you would have taken 2 instead of 1. But a win's still a win. You just couldn't afford to get swept. So yeah. And I went quick there, but that's the homestand for you guys. What? Feels like the lights just went out here, but they didn't. Maybe my ticker went out. I have an ESPN ticker or a tidbit in my bedroom, and I think it just went dark for a minute. Just want to check, make sure everything's okay. Okay, yeah, update. The tidbit is fine. It was just a little dark for a minute. But anyway, yeah, Tidbit's fine. That's good. So yeah, long story short here is we're near the 20-minute mark because we have to move and we got to start moving fast here. Mariners series was a success. Tuesday we probably should have swept, but oh well. We probably should have swept this whole homestand looking back, but we only took 3. That is why does it go light and then dark in that back room of mine sometimes? Like, I'm just watching the lighting system in my bedroom. I'm in my living room right now. I'm just watching the lighting system in my bedroom as I talk to you guys. But anyway, we probably should have swept. We only took 3. That's what makes it disappointing. But the Mariners series overall was a huge success. I'm very proud of how we played. That was probably one of my favorite series of the year, which I'll get to in like 20 seconds here. But that series was a huge success. My bad. The Red series, I wouldn't say it was a success. I wouldn't say it was a failure either. I'd probably give it a D because of the fact we just choked 2 games away. But it's not an F because we played better than them. I think we played better than them today. And I would say we played better than them yesterday. They just got freaking lucky at the very end. And then Friday, I don't think we played better than them. I think we genuinely lost that game Friday. That was never our game. But anyway, yeah, good win for sure. Very, very impressed by this. So, yeah. I would give the Mariners series an A. I was so impressed by how we played that series. Very, very proud, for sure. Now, on to what I wanted to say for all you guys. I was just so happy with how we played and so happy with how everything worked out. After every series, 2 things before we get into the start of the week. You probably don't notice, just had to take a quick pause there, but I'm back. But anyway, after each series, I rank them with my top 5 favorite series of the year at home. So this so far, and I will go through this with you, and we could actually do this after every home series. I don't do away, obviously, because I'm not there, but I'm going to rank every home series this year for you guys. But like I probably should have said that better. What I meant to say is after every home series, I rank like all the home series we've played this year, and there's obviously a top option, my favorite, and there's obviously a bottom option, my least favorite. So this is how the rankings read so far. I will go from least favorite to favorite to keep it a surprise. Number 14, my least favorite home series of the year was the Rockies. This just was cold. It was cold. It just wasn't a fun series at all. 13th, Padres. We lost 2 out of 3. That's not good. 12th, this Red series that was just happening. We lost 2 out of 3 and it rained. Not good. 11th was the Nationals. It was a weeknight series in April. I don't know what there is to get all rowdy up and excited for that. 10th was the Cardinals series. Yeah, we got swept and we probably shouldn't have, so that's not good. 9th was the Dodgers series. It was a series loss, so yeah. 8th, this is surprisingly low, but Phillies. We got swept by them, and the Philly fans were kind of crazy. So that's why they're 8th. 7th, the Marlins. Disappointed that we didn't take 2 out of 3 here. We needed to take 2 out of 3, and we didn't, so that's why it's there. 6th, the opening series against the Orioles. This one probably should be higher. I thought it was a very fun series, but I don't know. The weather was a little cold. On Easter Sunday, Friday and Saturday were fun, though, so that's good for sure. 5th, the Red series in May. This was Fave Night, one of my favorite nights of the year, if not my favorite. God bless all of you guys that are watching this. It was nice to see us sweep the Reds, so this was just a fun series. 4th, the Cubs series. The weather was nice most of the days. The crowd was fun. It was just fun baseball for sure during those games, especially Memorial Day. So that was my 4th favorite. 3rd, the Rays series. We took 2 out of 3. Skeens bobblehead, I know we lost, but it was still fun. It was just a fun atmosphere. Good to see everybody there again. So yeah. 2nd, the Mariners series. This was a fun weeknight series for sure. Certainly impressed by this, and yeah, it was a good one. And then obviously by default, number 1, the Twin series. The Brian Reynolds home run was awesome, and yeah, the games after were awesome. It was just such a fun weekend. That was the best series of the year, so that's your number 1. And this week, I accomplished something that I'm surprised. Honestly, being a big Pirates fan, even I'm surprised that this actually happened. But this week, or today, or yesterday, because it's 12:04 on Monday, I completed something I never thought I would complete. And that is this. I was at, in PNC Park for every single home Pirate game in June. I never thought I would be in PNC Park for every single home Pirate game in June. So let's give myself a round of applause for that, because that's awesome. I'm so happy I did that. But yeah, that was fun. It was a fun month for sure. It was fun being there for sure. So yeah, July, not so much. I probably won't even be at 50% of the games in July. It's just a busy month. And we'll get into more of that later. So yeah. Anyway, though, but that's a big deal. That was the first time I ever did that in my life. Not attended more or less, but was at PNC Park for every Pirates home game in June. So that was awesome to be there for every game in June. And the series rankings. The Mariners was my second favorite series this year, so that was awesome. I don't know if a series can pass the Twins one, but it's certainly possible for sure. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. Anyway, let's talk about our star of the week this week. It was tough, and I kind of had it figured out heading into this one, but I changed it at the last minute. What happened today certainly changed it for sure. And we'll start off with our honorable mentions, because I was going to give it to one of them, but declined after today. Our first honorable mention, obviously, is Maryland Valdez. 3 homers in 3 games. I was very thrilled with his performance. He's a power bat for sure and can become a fixture in our lineup. Very happy with him. So he's our honorable mention. Another honorable mention, and I'm so proud of how far this pitcher has came. First, it was awesome because of it, is Bubba Chandler. He was going to be at the star of the week until today, so sorry, Bubba, but yeah, maybe next time. If you outpit Sanchez on Tuesday, it's yours. Pitch Tuesday and Sunday, probably. If we win both those games and you outpit Sanchez on Tuesday, you will earn it for this week. Trust me, I promise. But anyway, the star of the week this week, and from his performances Wednesday and yesterday, he deserves it, is Ryan O'Hearn. So congratulations to Ryan O'Hearn. You certainly deserve it. So great job for Ryan O'Hearn. He had a big day Wednesday and a big day yesterday. So shout out to him. Round of applause for him. Great week by him. Great offseason acquisition. So glad he's a Pirate, and he's our star of the week. So yeah. Alrighty, now that we have our star of the week this week, let's go through these standings now. The MLB standings now. First, let's start off with the AL East. The Tampa Bay Rays lead that division at 48-33. I'm actually going to hold the iPad on my lap as I do this because I just want to talk to you guys. I'd rather talk to you if it on my lap. AL East, Rays lead 48-33. That's their record. Second place, Yankees 48-35. 1 game back. They just suffered a sweep at the hands of the Red Sox, which is crazy. They're in last. Third, the Blue Jays, 39-45. They're not a good record at all for a team that was just in the World Series. They're 10.5 back right now. Fourth is Baltimore, 39-46, 11 games back. Fifth is Boston, 36-46, 12.5 back. I think the Orioles have a good team. They're just very, very sloppy. As I scratch my eye, that was weird how I just did that, but my glasses, I lost both my, little glasses. If you could see, how you typically have, a thing for your nose on your glasses. Here, both mine popped out. I don't know how, but they just did. So I need to scratch my nose there a little bit. But anyway, the Orioles have a good team. Their roster talent is there. And Albornoz, I thought he was a good hire, but they look sloppy at times. I watched them get walked off against the Angels on Wednesday highlights. They just look sloppy. So their roster is better than their record. And they should be competing for sure. All right, we're going to try to get through this quickly because I'm tired. AL Central now. White Sox lead that division at 43-39. Love Will Venable. He's such a great manager, and he has them where they are, and I'm very happy by them. They're going to have a great year, hopefully. Hope to see them in the playoffs. They are great. People say they're the best story in baseball, and I do kind of believe that. Second, we got the Guardians tied with them at 44-40. Third, we have the Twins, 40-45. Derek Selms' crew is 4.5 games back. Next, we have the Tigers at 35-49, 9 games back. Their season is slowly and steadily starting to drift away, and I don't have much hope for them at this point to make the playoffs. Fifth, the Kansas City Royals at 35-50, 9.5 back. So it's not looking good, KC. this could be an interesting team because they're probably going to sell and sell hard at the trade deadline. So we will see what happens there. I wouldn't mind getting some of their core pieces for sure. AL West time now. The Texas Rangers, they lead that division at 500. They're 42-42. A half game back, the Seattle Mariners, who are 42-43. Third, the Houston Astros, 42-44. They're one game back. I think they're going to win the division, to be honest with you. They're storming hot. They're smoking hot right now. It's midseason. They're catching on. They're going to be fine. I think they win this division right now. That's what I'd say. Fourth, the Athletics at 40-44. They're 2 out. And then fifth, and in last place, the Angels at 35-49, 6.5 back. They fired their GM, Perry Minasian, I think that's how you pronounce it, on Friday, and appointed former Cardinals general manager and president of baseball sorry about that, to burp, operations, John Mozeliak as the interim GM and advisor to baseball operations, and hopefully that helps them in a way because they need it. They need a direction. They're 36-49, and they are 6.5 out in the division right now, so not good. But they're surprisingly less than 10 games out, which is crazy. Like, that's how bad the AL is this year. Like, it's really bad. NL East time now. The Braves, they are 49-33, struggling a little bit here. The Phillies are in second place, 47-37, 3 games out right now. They're really getting their footing. They're going to be scary. They're probably going to finish as one of the best teams, if not the best team in baseball this year. Kudos to Don Mattingly for what he did. They just need to be woke up. Now they're awake, and they're roaring right now, which is scary for this week ahead. I'm afraid we're going to get swept. I kind of have a funny feeling we might get swept. Also roaring are the Miami Marlins, who are 44-40. 6 games out right now, so they're right in the thick of things as well. Playing very well under Clay McCullough. Peter Bendix has them doing good, so they have a great system in Miami that's going to be allowed them to be good for a long time. This whole NL East is going to be good for a long time, so keep an eye on that division for sure. Fourth, the Washington Nationals are 43-42. 7.5 back in this division. Again, Blake Butera and Paul Taboni, they've done a great job in DC so far. I think we'll do okay against them, but I'm a little scared to face them, to be honest, this weekend. And then fifth, and in last place, the very, very sad New York Mets, 45-49, 15 back. They fired Carlos Mendoza on Friday. Andy Green's their interim GM. And the funny freaking thing was Mr. Met. He is a clown. He just danced and acted like he was having the time of his life while the Mets, they were talking about the firing. I'm watching it right now. I probably can't play it because of copyright issues, but I'm watching like the Mets pregame live. They're very sad. The stadium looks sad. It looks like it feels like a funeral, and because Carlos Mendoza was fired, the background looks like a funeral. It looks like it just rained there, and Mr. Met is dancing and having the time of his life. So that was hysterical, if you know what I'm talking about. It's so funny. Just type in Mr. Met onto X. You will find it. It is freaking hysterical. You guys should watch it for sure. Or TikTok. Alrighty, let's go on to the NL Central now, our division. Brewers, they're heating up, 50-31. Cubs also heating up, 46-38. 5.5 games back now. They're looking very strong. One of the streakiest teams in baseball. They're either red hot or they're ice cold. There's no in between for them. Cardinals, somewhat collapsing here, but not really. They're 43-38, 7 games back. So not looking good in the Lou right now, unfortunately. Pirates, we're 42-42, dead even 500, 9.5 back. So the division is not looking promising right now, unfortunately. I wouldn't say it's looking promising for anybody but Milwaukee. They're a machine. They're a freaking machine. And then last place are the Reds. Obviously, we just played. 39-43, 11.5 back. Last but not least, we're going to do the NL West now. The Los Angeles Dodgers lead that division at 54-30. Second, you have the Padres, 43-39, 10 back. Third, you have the Diamondbacks, 41-42, 12.5 back. Fourth, you have the Giants, 35-48, 18.5 back. They're a mess right now. And then fifth, you have the Rockies, who are 33-51, 21 games out. Alrighty, let's talk now a little bit about the wild card chase. Your first seed, and then we'll get into the streakiest and coldest teams. Hottest and coldest teams. Your wild card chase now, let's take a look at that. Your 1 seed leading the American League and the AL East in the American League, the Tampa Bay Rays. Your 2nd seed leading the AL Central, also earning a bye, or the Chicago White Sox. Those are your top 2, so they get byes. Your 3rd seed, the Texas Rangers. Your 4th seed and your first AL wild card are the New York Yankees, who are 7 games up on the 5th seed, and the 2nd AL wild card, the Cleveland Guardians, who are 2.5 up on the 6th seed, the last team in the playoffs right now, and the 3rd NL wildcard, and the last team in, as I just said, I need to get better with the wording here, the Seattle Mariners. They're the last team in. Who is the first team out? The Houston Astros, who are half game back right now of the Mariners. Then you have the Athletics, who are a game and a half out. The Twins are 2 games out. The Blue Jays, surprisingly, are 2.5 out. The Orioles are only 3 out. The Red Sox are 4.5 out. The Angels are 6 out. The Tigers are 6.5 out, and the Royals are 7 out. I don't think there's much hope for the Angels, Tigers, and Royals, but they could prove me wrong any day they want. So yeah, we'll look into that for sure. Comes the second half, we will definitely do a lot more elimination stuff and just my elimination theories. So we'll get into that more in the second half for sure, starting July 26th. Now into the National League now. Leading the NL West, the National League, and Major League Baseball as a whole, your number 1 seed, if the postseason started today, the Los Angeles Dodgers. This should not come as a surprise as they buy their team, hence why I believe that MLB needs a salary cap. Your 2nd seed, the opposite of buying your team, and somebody who doesn't buy their team and just relies on research development and just the strong developmental system to get where they are. The 2 seed and the NL Central leaders, the Milwaukee Brewers, who would also have a bye if things ended today. Your 3 seed and leading the NL East are the Atlanta Braves. Your 4th seed, the first wild card, and they're the Philadelphia Phillies, who are up by 2.5 games over the 5th seed in the 2nd wild card. The Chicago Cubs, who are 1.5 up on the 6th seed, the 3rd wild card, and your last team in the postseason if things ended today, the St. Louis Cardinals. Your first team out, a half game back right now, are the San Diego Padres. Then we have the Miami Marlins, who are actually tied with them to be the first team out, a half game out back. Your next team then, the Nationals, who are 2 out. The Pirates, we are 2.5 out. Not good, but not bad either. Your next team, the Diamondbacks, are 3 out. They're 1 game under 500 right now, 41-42. So I don't know what's going to happen there. We'll see. Reds, 4.5 out. Giants, 9 out. Mets, 9.5 out. And Rockies, 11.5 out. So I would say it's not looking good for those 3. Giants, Mets, and Rockies. Any of the other guys, yeah, probably could get in. Let's look at the streakiest teams now in each league as we speak. Right now in the American League, the streakiest teams are the Tampa Bay Rays and the Houston Astros, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox trying to stay together, a teeny comeback. Same with the Astros. Rays trying to take control of the AL for good. In the NL, your streakiest teams right now, the Chicago Cubs and the Miami Marlins at 8-2. They're really smoking hot right now. So those are your 2 best teams in baseball right now over the past 10 games. The Cubs 8-2, the Marlins 8-2. Let's look at the coldest teams in each league now. Oh, the Rangers are 7-3 as well. My bad. I'm sorry. The Rangers are 7-3 as well in the AL. Let's add them. Your coldest teams looks like it's the New York Yankees at 3-7 and the Toronto Blue Jays at 3-7. Things are not going well for those 2 teams right now, and they need to bounce back and bounce back fast if they want any hope. In the NL now, your coldest team is, unsurprisingly, the New York Mets at 2-8. Their season is pretty much over. It was just a nightmare season and flossing, and they need to do a full autopsy at the end of the year on what went wrong and make some meaningful changes if they want to compete in what is going to be a stacked NL East for a long time. So keep an eye on that. Let's briefly talk about our farm teams right now. Then I'll touch on top prospects briefly because it looks like nothing changed as always. And then we will preview the week ahead and conclude the show. We're at the 40-minute mark now. That's why I mentioned this. For the AAA Pirates affiliate, the Indianapolis Indians in the International League West, they are free to begin the second half. 2 games behind first place Toledo, who's 5-1. By the way, how the minor leagues do it is they reset their standings at the beginning of each half, and then I think the halves dictate who makes the minor league playoffs or not. It's a little bit of a different system, and I don't know fully how to explain it, why they divide it into halves, but we did not perform well the first half. Good to see us though after 500 started the second half. We'll get to that at the end of this though. For our AA affiliate, the Altoona Curve in the Eastern League Southwest, they are unfortunately 2-4, 3 games back of the first place Richmond Flying Squirrels and Erie Tigers, who are both 5-1, or Erie Seawolves, who are both 5-1. My bad. High A now. Let's take a look at our High A team. The Greensboro Grasshoppers, who are 7-2, they lead the South Atlantic League North and are 1 game ahead of Wilmington, who's from the Nationals and in second. Let's see who won the first half. Frederick got us by a game in the first half, unfortunately. So yeah. For our Bradenton team in the Florida State League, they are 3-6. They're 3.5 back of first place Fort Myers, who's with the Twins. But yeah, 3-6. Not good enough right now in the Florida State League, which is our single A team, our A team. On to rookie ball now. Let's take a quick look at that here. In the Dominican Summer League, DSL Pirates Gold, 9-11. 5-5 over their last 10. They are free back of DSL Orioles Orange, who are 12-8. For our other team in the Dominican Summer League Southwest, DSL Pirates Black is in first place right now, 13-7. 7-3 over their last 10 games, with a 1-game lead over DSL Giants Orange for first. And that's your Dominican teams. Now on to our Florida Complex League team. The FCL Pirates are 19-21, 5.5 back of first place, and unfortunately are 3-7 in their past 10 with a tragic number of 14. So hopefully we can pass the Orioles, who are leading the division at 25-16. It's going to be tough, just considering we're 5.5 back, and the season's actually almost over. Because they run a really sort of abbreviated season, so it's almost over. So yeah, I'm not feeling good about that. But anyways, glad to see Indianapolis back on the right track somewhat. So that's how your minor league clubs are doing. Let's look at our top prospects now. I'm just going to go through them real quick. I've talked about them several times. This list doesn't change, but it's just a friendly reminder. We will talk about this more next week with potential trades for the trade deadline and trade candidates. I'm just going to go through it real quick tonight because it hasn't changed. First off, you have Seth Hernandez, who's still high A, 2028. Next, you have Edward Florentino, second. Outfielder first. Seth Hernandez is a right-handed pitcher. Outfield first baseman, Edward Florentino, high A, 2028. Third, you have Hunter Barco, left-handed pitcher, AAA, 2026. I think he's injured. Hopefully he gets better soon and comes back soon, but yeah, I don't know what to do there. Fourth, Youngston Garcia, the password, AAA, still 2026. We've seen him in the majors, obviously, so hopefully things work out there. Fifth, Tamar Johnson. I meant for Youngston. Hopefully things work out for him in the majors when we could call him back up. Fifth, you have Tamar Johnson, who's the second baseman, AAA, 2026. We'll see what happens with him. He unfortunately has not been that great this year, so maybe he could be a trade candidate as well at the deadline. Six, you have Wyatt Sanford, who is shortstop, high A, 2028. Possible trade candidate as well for bullpen help. Like I've been saying, there's another shortstop down here who's in high A and has a 2028 call time as well. And we have our franchise shortstop, so we really don't need 2 shortstops right now coming up soon. So I think we're good at that position. So we could probably trade one of those guys for a bullpen arm, please. But Sanford, high A, 2028. Seventh, Antoine Kelly, relief right-handed pitcher, AAA, 2028. Or no, 2026, I'm sorry. He's been back and forth, so maybe we'll see him again in the majors. I don't think we'll see him anytime soon, though, unfortunately. Avia Rafael Flores Jr., catcher, first baseman, AAA 2026. He's at home in AAA. We obviously dealt Joey Bart for Hunter Stratton, so it's not like we're desperately looking for a catcher or a first baseman. Maybe first base for a little bit. Well, I just need to put this pillow behind me because my head's getting a little annoyed as I talk to you guys, but hang on to adjust the pillow. But anyway, we might see him at first base some during Spencer Horowitz's absence, which, sorry I didn't talk about this much. Spencer Horowitz is on the 10-day IL right now. He'll probably come back in mid-July. It's some like groin strain, something like that. So hoping him the best in his recovery, and we hope to see him soon in the majors. Next up, we have, obviously, is Maryland Valdez, who's in the majors right now as a call-up time of 2027. Obviously, that's not true. Outfielder, first base. So hopefully we could get him maybe here playing some first base if O'Hearn ever needs a day off or anything. So yeah, hopefully that could be the case. But he's in the MLB. He's very versatile. Very glad he's on our team. And then 10th, you have Sammy Staforos, shortstop, high A, 2028. Next week when we do trades, we'll probably talk about this list much more because some of these guys you could probably trade for sure. Alrighty, in conclusion, let's look at the week ahead with the Phillies and the Nationals. Let's take a look at some of this here. First off, let's go through the games. First off, the trip to face our rivals on the other end of the Commonwealth starts tonight at 6:40 p.m. Tuesday, 6:40 p.m. in Philly again. Wednesday, another 6:40 till in Philly against the Flames. And then Thursday, the series and season finale with the Phillies, a 12:35 start against them in Philly. So 4 games in Philly this year, unfortunately. Then we hop on a plane to go down to our nation's capital to take on the surprisingly good Washington Nationals. Friday night, 6:45 p.m. Saturday, their traditional 4th of July start time at 11:05 a.m. on the 250th. Happy birthday, America, 250 years, and happy 4th of July to all you guys. So yeah, 11:05 a.m. start on Saturday. And then Sunday is a 1 p.m. start in D.C., and that's your 7-game road trip for you guys against the Phillies and the Nationals. Let's take a look at pitchers, then I'll offer you my hopes and my predictions for the week ahead, and then we'll call it a show. Alrighty, let's take a look at the pitchers. Now, for tonight against the Phillies, Braxton Ashcraft, who has a 4.07 ERA. He'll go against Aaron Nola, who has a 5.58 ERA. I kind of like that matchup. On Tuesday, Bubba Chandler, with his 4.42 ERA, will unfortunately go against Christopher Sanchez, who's a Cy Young candidate with a 2.13 ERA. Sanchez or Mizorowski for Cy Young right now. I'd say Miz as of right now, but it's going to get really close and interesting for sure. Wednesday is the Paul Skeens start, 3.10 ERA. He'll go against Zach Wheeler with a 2.03 ERA. Not feeling good about that one either. And then Thursday, we have Jared Jones with 5.76 ERA. He'll go against Alan Rengel from the Phillies with a 4.50 ERA. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Friday night now in our nation's capital, Mitch Keller will take his 4.89 ERA down to D.C. He'll go against Foster Griffin with a 2.93 ERA. Saturday, for July 4th, the early one, 11:05. You get Braxton Ashcraft with a 3.07 ERA against Zach Littell with a 5.40 ERA. So hopefully that works out well. And then Sunday, we will get the matchup between Bubba Chandler with a 4.42 ERA against Miles Michaelis with a 5.24 ERA. So that's your pitching matchups for this series. Here's my take. I think we win 1 in Philly, most likely tonight, Monday night. And I think we could win 2 in DC, but I think we only win 1. So I think we unfortunately do go 2-5 this road trip. 3-4 is a possibility. 2-5 is my guess. 3-4 is a possibility, which I think would be a success for this road trip. And 4-3, I would be happy as a claim if we went 4-3. That's the case. So the goal should be to go 4-3. Take 2 in Philly and win the series against DC, which I definitely think is possible, but it's an uphill battle for sure. 3-4. That means losing or taking the series in DC and only winning 1 in Philly. That's fine by me. And 4-3, and 2-5, which is what I expect, taking 1 in Philly and 1 in DC. It'd be unfortunate, but that's what I expect. Worst case scenario is 1-6 and 0-7. I'm afraid that we could go 1-6. I don't see us going 0-7 this trip. The only way I could see us, I could see us getting swept by Philly. I don't think we'll get swept by Washington though. So I don't think we'll go 0-7. I don't think we'll go 1-6. It's very likely I think we go 2-5. So that's my prediction for you guys. And we're at the 50-minute mark now, and I'm starting to get really freaking tired. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this. Next week, we will be, obviously, it'll be another weekly show. We'll start off, obviously, with some housekeeping, very similar to today. With that, we will then go into recapping the series against the Phillies and the Nationals. We'll see how this road trip goes for the Pirates. We will then discuss the start of the week. We'll name our start of the week for the week. We will then look at the MLB standings. Also, then after that, we'll take a look at the minor league baseball standings. And then we will talk about the trade deadline for the first time. We will look at who could be buying, who could be selling, and which bullpen arms and just players in general could be available at this deadline. So that's something we will look into for sure. And then we will talk about top prospects and preview the last 2 series before the All-Star break, in the Braves and the Brewers. And they're both at home, so it's fast, Wednesday is July the 1st. We've already played half the games. The longest day of the year is already behind us, so time flies. It really does. Yeah. So I have for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. Spotify listeners, I hope you enjoyed the first time on Spotify. We're going to be doing this much more on there. I hope you enjoyed this show, everybody. That was fun. I will see you again next week. It was fun but long. So yeah, I'll see you again next week, guys. Enjoy this week. Happy 4th of July. Celebrate our great nation's 250th nation responsibly. Have fun. Enjoy the fireworks. Take care. Stay safe. Happy 4th. And as always, peace and God bless. See you guys for next week's Weekly Show. Bye.